Good evening. Welcome again to another live streaming of task training. And this is a continuation of our discussions on Revenue Regulations 11-2018, which is the implementing regulations of the train law on withholding tax. No? So, tonight, our topic would be about the use of exceptional computations ng withholding. So, ibang klase ng computation ito. No? But before that, I would like to say thank you po sa ating mga subscribers. Umabot na tayo ng 6,870. No? Thank you very much. Shout out po. Ilan na yung YouTubers natin?
Meron na tayo, ma'am. 8 viewers po.
8?
Apo. Tapos,
Sa YouTube?
sa YouTube, ma'am, 5 pa lang po.
5.
Tapos, may shoutout tayo, ma'am.
Okay.
Si Sir Josefino Rillian po. Good evening daw.
Always na yan siya, no? Pero ilang, ilang live streaming na wala siya, ha?
Opo.
No? Okay, so shout out po, Mr. Joselito Rillian, no?
Tapos, hi din daw po, sabi ni Miss Ann Ging.
Ay, oo. No, napanood ko yung YouTube channel mo. Okay ka na, going better. Dagdagan mo pa yung mga BIR forms, no? Kasi nakakatulong ka rin naman dun sa mga filers natin, no? So, wala na?
Meron pa po, ma'am. Good evening daw po, sabi ni Ma'am Cecilia Reroma. First time daw niya to tune in.
Wow, talaga. So, welcome, Miss Cecilia Han. Shout out, Miss Cecilia Riuma. No, sa mga first-timer natin, welcome na welcome po kayo and thank you for watching.
Good evening din daw po, ma'am, sabi ni Sir Eljan Mago.
Okay. So, shout out, Sir Eljan Mago. No? Thank you for watching.
Sabi po ni Miss Anding, salamat daw po.
Yes. No, kasi nakaka-inspire kasi, no? Yung ganun pala yung feeling mo, no, yung mga kapwa YouTubers mo, nakaka-inspire din sila eh. Kasi alam mo kung ano yung hirap, alam mo yung nararanasan nyo pare-pareho, no? Hindi rin pala biro-biro maging YouTubers, ha? Nag-iisip ka kung ano yung maging video mo, yung parang suntok sa buwan yung ginagawa mo, pero since you enjoy, you continue, no? Yung tiyaga lang. Okay.
Good evening din daw po, ma'am, sabi ni Ma'am Ami Tagle.
Okay, so shout out Miss Ami Tagle.
Okay na, ma'am, wala.
Okay, so let's now go to the discussion po ng ating Revenue Regulations 11-2018, no? And then shout out ko lang din pala doon sa mga tax advisors group at saka sa PSTR members. Meron tayong tax update bukas, no? Nag-email ka na ba, Haris?
Ako, ma'am, nag-send na po ako ng mga link sa members tsaka
Via Zoom yun, di ba?
Yes, ma'am.
So, ilan yung nag-confirm?
Wala pa pong nag-confirm.
Okay, sige. So, yung topic natin is about yung preparation ng segmented financial statements. Tama ba?
Ako, ma'am.
At saka yung how to prepare the year-end adjustment, no? Anyway, na-explain natin dito yung year-end adjustment doon. Siguro si Harry, dagdagan mo na, Harry, yung sa technical side, no, ng year-end adjustment, paano submit ng mga alpha list, no? Paano gamitin yung system ng BAR on the e-filing. Kasama doon, parang hands-on, no? Okay. So, use of exceptional computations, the cumulative average method, no? So, sa paggawa po ng year-end adjustment, so dapat lang ngayon gagawa na yun ng year-end adjustment kasi November na, no? Undas na pala, no? Si 28 na ngayon. Kailan yung undas? November 1?
Sunday po.
Sunday, okay. So, walang holiday. Okay. So, let's now go to cumulative average method, no? So, okay. So, if in respect of a particular employee, no, sa isang empleyado, the regular compensation is exempt from withholding tax. no? Hindi subject sa withholding tax. Bakit? Because the amount thereof is below the compensation level, but supplementary compensation is paid during the calendar year, or the supplementary compensation is equal to or more than the regular compensation to be paid. Kasi yung ibang mga company, due to the nature ng kanilang mga employees work, pinapagawa nila sa employee, yung dapat nagbibigay sila ng supplemental compensation. Iba pa yung basic na compensation, hindi siya subject to withholding kasi minimum wage, pero yung supplemental income sometimes mas malaki pa doon sa basic tax, kaya nagiging taxable. So in that case, kung magiging taxable yung supplemental income niya, you have to withhold, no? Or the employee was newly hired and had a previous employer, no? So newly hired siya, may previous employer siya. So anong gagawin ng current employer? Idagdag niya ngayon yung income of that employee from the previous employer, no? Okay. Other than the present employer doing this cumulative computation, the present employer shall determine the tax to be deducted and withheld in accordance with the cumulative average method provided hereunder, no? So merong rate. Step 1, add the amount of taxable, regular, and supplementary compensation to be paid to an employee, no? So for the payroll period, subject of computation to the sum of the taxable, regular, and supplementary compensation since the beginning of the calendar year, including the compensation paid by the previous employers within the same calendar year, if any. No? So, kung meron, no? So kung meron. Kung wala, hindi ka rin dapat magdagdag, no? Kung wala siyang mga income sa mga previous niya na employer, no? Okay. Step 2, divide the aggregate amount of compensation computed in step 1 by the number of payroll period to which the amount relates. Kaya nga ang ano natin dito is average cumulative method, no? Step 3, compute the tax to be deducted and withheld, no? On the cumulative average compensation determined in step number 2 in accordance with the withholding tax table, no? And then step 4, multiply the tax computed in step number 3 by the number of payroll period to which it relates. Step 5, determine the excess, if any, of the amount of the tax computed in step number 4 over the total amount of the tax already deducted and withheld from the beginning payroll period to the last payroll period, including that withheld by the previous employer. Yung may tax withheld yung previous employers, then included within the calendar year, if any. The excess as computed shall be deducted and withheld from the compensation to be paid for the last payroll period of the current calendar year, no? So yun yung babayaran. The cumulative average method, once applicable to a particular employee at any time during the calendar year, shall be the same method to be consistently used for the remaining payroll period of the same calendar year, no? So kung yun ang applicable sa employee, in this case, binigyan tayo ng instances wherein cumulative average method yung gagamitin natin if may previous employer ang empleyado at saka may supplemental income, no? So ito na yung illustrations natin. The regular compensation is exempt from withholding tax, but supplementary compensation or commission is paid during the calendar year, no? So Ms. Rose received the following compensation beginning January 2018. Okay, so for the month of January or February and March, the regular compensation is 15,000. And then the supplementary compensation No? In this case, mas malaki kaysa sa regular compensation. So the total compensation for the month of January, February, and March is 35,000, 30,000, and 40,000. No? Computation. So ito yung procedure, no? Kasi sabi nga natin ito is cumulative average method. So ina-average siya, no? So using the revised withholding tax table in Annex D, the tax is to be withheld or each month following the step-by-step procedures enumerated above, no? So number 1 for January, February, and March, no? So for January, 35,000 plus 0. Why plus 0? Kasi it's the first month of the quarter. So wala ka pang idadagdag to make it average. For February is 35,000 plus 30,000. Why? Kasi mag-average ka ng first 2 months. So bigay mo ngayon, compute mo yung first 2 months na income, no? And then for March, 3 months na kasi quarter na eh, third month siya eh, no? So yung quarter composed of 3 months. So 3 months na yung isama mo. So this 3 months is 35,000 plus 30,000 and 40,000, no? So yun yung total niya is how much? 105,000, no? So for January, 35,000 divided by 1 equals 35,000. For February, 65,000 divided by 2, 32,500. And for March, 105,000 divided by 3 is 35,000. No? So yun yung amount of compensation na isubject nyo sa withholding tax table, no? Para makapag-withhold kayo, yun ang magiging basis, no? So tax on 33,333 is 2,500 using now the withholding tax table, no? So tax on excess on 35,000 minus 33,333 times 25% is 416.75. So on the income ng employee is how much? Sa 35,000, 2,916.75 yung kanyang withholding tax, no? For February, no, second month of the quarter, no? So tax on 20,833 is 0, wala. Yung tax on excess 32,000 minus 20,833 is 20%, 2,333.40. So the tax, withholding tax on 32,500 is 2,333.40. So in the second month of February, the amount of 2,333.40 should be withheld, no? For March, this is the third month of the quarter. 35,000 minus 33,000 times 25%. So, same doon sa first month, no? 2,916.75 yung withholding tax natin using the withholding tax table. For February, the withholding tax is 2,916.75 times 1 is 2,916.75. So, yun yung ating withholding. For February is 2,333.40 times 2 is 4,666.80. Yun yung average, no, ng 2 months. And then for March, 2,916 times 3 equals 8,750.25. So how much is the tax that we are going to withhold monthly? So for January, 2,916.75 minus 0. So the amount that we are going to withhold is 2,916.75. For February, 4,660.80 minus 2,916.75. Why minus 2,916.75? Because the 2,916.75, we have remitted it already on the first month, no? So how much is that? For February, 1,750.05. No? So for March, which is the third month, and how much is the total withholding for the 3 months? 8,750. Deduct the total withholding for the first 2 months, 4,666.80. So, your withholding tax that should be withheld for the month of March is 4,083.45. No? So, ang laki. Ang laki, no? Imagine, 2,000, tapos nag 1,000, tapos nag 4,000 na. No? Malaki yung effect niya sa monthly withholding. No? So, another illustration or illustration 2. Supplementary compensation is equal or more than the regular compensation received. No? So, Miss Amy received the following compensation beginning January of 2018. So, for the month of January, February, and March, the regular compensation is 15,000, while the supplementary compensation is 15,000, 15,000, and 20,000. So, the total compensation for the month of January, February, and March is 30,000, 30,000, and 35,000. Okay. So, for the computation, using the revised withholding tax table in Annex D, the tax is to be withheld for each month following the step-by-step procedures previously enumerated. No? So, kung ano yung steps na ginamit natin dun sa first illustration, ganun din sa second. No? Kasi yung example natin, lower yung amount. No? So, for January, February, and March, the total compensation for January, 30,000 plus 0 because it's the first month. No? So, equals 30,000. For February, 30,000 plus 30,000 equals 60,000. And for March, 30,000 plus 30,000 plus 35,000. So, ang total lahat ng na average income niya for the quarter is 95,000. No? So, how do we compute? For the monthly basis. Kasi sabi natin, average ito eh. No? So, for January, 30,000 plus 1 equals 30,000. No? So, for February, 60,000 divided by 2, no? Yung January pala, 30,000 divided by 1 equals 30,000. No? So, for February, 60,000 divided by 2 equals 30,000. No? And for March, 95,000 divided by 3 no? Equals 31,666.67. Yun na yung average na compensation niya for the month of March, no? So, for January, tax on 20,833.00, tax on excess ng 30,000 minus 20,833 times 30% is 1,833.40, no? So, on February, the tax on 20,833, the same lang kasi tax on 30,000 sila, pareho yung average income niya on January and February na 30,000. Kaya, yung pag kinompute mo yung withholding tax before mo siya i-average is 1,833.40. And then for March, ito na yung excess no, ng 21,000, 31,000, 20 minus 2,833 is 2,166.73. So that the tax on 31,666.67 is 2,166.73. Okay. So, mag-average na tayo. For January, 1,833.40 times 1. Kasi first year, no? For February, 1,833 times 2, no? And for March, 2,166.73 times 3, no? Okay. So, for the tax to be withheld on a monthly basis, for January, 1,833.40. Why? Kasi yung 1,833 by na 0 dahil first month, wala ka pang i-deduct. Pero pagdating na ng February, 3,666 yung average na withholding, i-less mo yung 1,833.40, the withholding paid on the first month, which is January, 1,833.40 pa rin. No? For March, since the total withholding for the 3 months is 6,500.19, i-less mo ngayon yung 3,666.80 is 2,833.39. Yun yung bayaran mo on the third month, which is the month of March, no? So, ano lang yung napapansin ko dito sa average cumulative method, cumulative average method, yung pinaka-third month, yun yung malaking withholding, no? So, look at the illustrations. Yung first illustration natin, yung third month niya, ang babayaran na tax is 4,083.45. Samantalang yung first month, 2009, second month is 1,750. So, saan bumabagsak yung malaking withholding? On the third month, no? So, yan ang nakita ko na mabigat sa cumulative average method, no? Okay. Another illustration, no, sa cumulative average method. A newly hired employee with previous employer within the calendar year 2018, Miss Lenny was hired by GPL Corporation on July 6, 2018. No? So her total taxable income per month is 35,000. She was previously employed by a company from January to June 30, 2018 with a monthly taxable income of 30,000 or 180,000 for 6 months. Per BIR Form 2316, ito yung Certificate of Compensation Payment or Tax Withheld, issued by the previous employer, which was presented by Ms. Lenny to her present employer. The total tax withheld is 11,040, no? So yun ang makikita dun sa BIR Form 2316, yung certificate na ibibigay ng employee sa kanyang employer. In computing for the tax withheld on the compensation of Ms. Lenny starting the month of July 6, 2018, GPL Corporation shall use the cumulative average method, no? Kasi may previous employer, no? So, for the month of July, no, July 6 kasi doon siya nag-umpisa eh. July 6, August, September, October, November, and December, the present compensation is 35,000, no? So, the total is 210,000. Meron siyang previous na compensation na 180, dagdag natin yun for the month of July, no? So, the total compensation is 215 for the month of July since yung mga previous niya na income from the previous employer, dinagdag natin noon, no? So, total for the year, total compensation is 390,000. Ang nakalagay dito, total taxable compensation. Ibig sabihin, net na ito ng mga ng mga statutory deductions. Ano yung statutory deductions? Ito yung mga deductions ng SSS, no, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, yung mga mandatory na yan. Yun yung Diyos kung meron, no? So, how do we compute? Using the revised withholding tax table in Annex D, the tax is to be withheld for each month following the step-by-step procedures previously enumerated. So, for July, 35,000 plus 180,000 is 215,000. Okay, so bakit 180,000? Kasi yun yung kanyang previous na compensation, no? So, for July, the total is 215,000, no? For August, 215,000 plus 35,000, no? So, equals 250,000. For September, 215,000 plus 35,000, 285,000 in total. For October, the 215,000 in September plus the 35,000 for October, 250,000 in July plus the 35,000 in August plus the 35,000 in September, no, plus the 35,000 in October, total is 320,000, no? So for November, the total is 215,000 plus 35,000 plus 35,000 plus 35,000 plus 35,000. So, ilang 35,000 to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, no? Kasi November na. So, the total is 355,000, no? Okay. So, computing the average, cumulative average natin na income. So, for July, is 215,000 divided by 7, no? 7 months. Kasi, in-include mo yung January to June, 6 months. Plus yung July, so yun ang pang 7. Kaya divided by 7 months. So, yung July mo na income is 30,714.29. So, for August, again, dun sa cumulative natin, 250,000 divided by 8 equals 31,250. September, 31,666.67. October, 32,000. And November, 32,272.73. No? So, how much is the withholding for July? 1,976.25. For August, 2,083.40. For September, 2,166.73. For October, 2,233.40. For November, 2,287.95. No? So, yun yung tax ng 32,272.73. No? For computing the average withholding tax, no? So, for July, 1,976.27 times 7, no? Times 7 na, is 13,833.75. For August, 16,667.20. For September, 19,500.57. For October, 22,334. For November, 25,167.45. No? So, yun yung average na withholding. So, how much is the monthly? No? So, for July, is 13,833.75 yung cumulative natin na withholding, less the withholding tax paid by the previous employer, which is 11,000.40. So, yung payable natin ng July is 2,833.35. No? So, for August, pareho lang hanggang sa November, no? 2,833.45. Okay? So, alin yung mas complicated na i-compute natin, no? Yung cumulative average method. But, pagka nalaman nyo na yung step by step, the same lang, mas madali na, no? Kaso lang, nakailang computation kayo. Hindi kagaya nung regular na determine mo lang how much is the monthly compensation and then i-apply mo yung table. Dito hindi. I-average mo muna yung income and then i-multiply mo yung withholding and then i-average mo ulit yung withholding, i-less mo yung mga payments monthly. No? So, mas madami lang computation yung average cumulative method. Cumulative average method. No? Ito yung annualized withholding tax method. Ito yung meron na tayong video nito dito sa tax training, no? On how to compute the annualized withholding tax method. But for purposes of this live streaming, explain pa rin po namin ulit sa inyo, no? So, the annualized withholding tax method, no? Number 1, when the employer and the employer relationship is terminated before end of the calendar year and when computing for the year-end adjustment, no? The employer shall determine the amount to be withheld from the compensation on the last month of the employment or in December of the current calendar year in accordance with the following procedure. So, kailan tayo dapat mag-year-end adjustment? There are 2 instances na dapat tayong magkaroon ng mag-compute ng year-end adjustment. So, first, kung ang employee is terminated or nag-stop na ng working, no? So, kailan ka mag-year-end adjustment sa kanya? At that time of the last payment of his salary. Anong gagawin mo? I-compute mo na as if last month na niya yun na trabaho. So, i-compute mo na ngayon yung magkano yung tax due doon sa income niya, no? Mag-annualize ka na. Total income niya for the year, no? Kung halimbawa 5 months siya or 6 months yung nabuo yung sweldo niya, then compute mo na and then kung magkano yung tax due, i-less mo yung tax already na withheld, yun yung i-withhold mo for the current, no? Pero doon sa certificate na gagawin mo sa 2316, kasi magbibigay ka na ng certificate of compensation and the tax withheld, ilagay mo na doon yung total compensation niya and the cumulative or the total withholding niya during the stay niya po sa opisina. So, yun naman yung gagawin nyo doon sa terminated na employee. No? For the hindi terminated, mandatory naman na yung made an adjustment or a year-end adjustment every December. No? Pero during my stay in the Bay Area, ang daming nagrereklamo about the year-end adjustment pag ginawa mo na December. Ano yung mga problema nila? Sometimes daw, during the final na withholding, halimbawa, ang laki pa ng babayaran ng empleyado and then it's December. So, wala na siyang sweldo. Puro loan, puro ano. So, ang tanong ng employer, paano niya ngayon i-deduct kung malaki pa yung kanyang withholding tax due for December, no? So, no advice ko sa kanila, you make your annualized withholding computation early year. Gawin nyo ng October, gawin nyo ng November, so that hindi mahirapan both yung employer at saka yung employee sa pagdating na ng December, no? Na-adjust nyo na. Hindi naman bawal yun, no? Kasi more or less, ang iba pa na concern dyan, pagdating na ng December, over-withheld na yung employee, no? So sabi ng employer, i-refund namin yung over-withholding. Yung over-withholding na remit na namin sa BIR. So saan namin ngayon kukunin yung pang-refund namin sa employee, no? So anong sabi ko sa kanila, you devise a method na hindi kayo mag-over-withheld. So anong gagawin nyo? Mag-year-end adjustment na kayo before pa ng December, no? Kasi sabi ko, yun namang salary ng employees nyo are already fixed, no? Ano lang yung hindi fixed dyan? Yung marireceive niya at yung December. Ano yung marireceive niya ng December? Yun yung Christmas bonus, no? Or other benefits. Yun yung ma-receive niya. Eh kung ano naman yun, exempt, kasi exempt na tayo hanggang sa 90,000. So you need not worry about it, no? Sa pang-December niya na income. Kasi ang salary na mandatory na i-withhold mo is yung compensation niya na monthly, no? So in that case, hindi na kayo mahirapan, hindi na kayo mag-over-withheld, at saka yung employee din, hindi na rin mag-worry doon sa withholding tax niya, no? So how are you going to make the annualized withholding tax, no? Computation. Step 1, determine the taxable, regular, and supplementary compensation paid to the employee for the entire calendar year, no? Entire calendar year, so meaning the whole year, 12 months, no? Kasi yung calendar year natin is 12 months, no? January to December. Halimbawa naman yung employee, pumasok lang ng July, then July to December lang, no? Step 2, if the employee has previous employment within the year, add the amount of taxable, regular, and supplementary compensation paid to the employee by the present employer doing the annualized computation to the taxable compensation income received from previous employer during the calendar year. Shout out, Hari, may question?
May mga question ako, ma'am, tsaka shout out.
Oh, sige. Isara mo muna yung pinto, mainit na. Okay. Dali lang po Okay. Nakaupo muna at sakit ng tuhod. Okay. Sige, so before we proceed with steps, no? Sa step 2 natin, answer muna tayo ng mga questions at saka shout out. Sige.
Shout out po muna tayo, ma'am, kay Ma'am Marvic Joanna Gabonilas.
Okay. So, shout out Miss, ano yun? Marvic Joanna. Ang ganda naman ng pangalan,
First
no?
time niya rin daw po.
Oh, yes. Thank you for watching, no? Shout out sa iyo.
Tapos sabi naman po ni Ma'am Maika Ilagan,
Okay.
thank you daw po for everyday live streaming about tax.
Thank you din po and thank you for watching Miss
Maika.
Maika, no?
Very
Thank you for
helpful
watching.
daw.
Okay.
Tapos, good evening din daw po sabi ni Ma'am Irish Nario.
Okay, si Miss Iris Nario, always yan, no? So, thank you for watching. Shout out sa iyo, Miss Iris.
Good evening din daw po sabi ni Ma'am Dina.
Ay, nako, Ma'am Dina, kumusta ka na, no? Sama ka bukas sa tax updates natin, no? Bigyan mo sila ng link. Via Zoom tayo, yun yung monthly tax update natin, na yung topic natin na sabi ko is, yung how to prepare a segmented financial statement, no? Kasi nire-require na rin yan ngayon ng BAR on their tax audit. And then yung yung year-end adjustment, medyo papyawan natin ulit doon sa live streaming na yun. Ano yan? The webinar natin on tax update, no? Sa ano yan, sa Zoom, via Zoom, no? Sa mga members natin yan ng PSTR at saka sa Tax Advisors Group. Okay.
Ma'am, sabi naman po ni Sir Josefino Relien, lumipat daw po kasi siya, ma'am, kaya naghanap pa daw siya ng connection.
Oh.
Kaya ngayon lang siguro nakanood.
Oh, ganun, no? So, anyway, thank you, no? At least may connection ka na. Siyempre, nandyan na eh. Naka-connect na, no? So, thank you.
Ma'am, sa questions na po tayo, ma'am.
Okay.
Galing po kay Sir Mark Philip.
Mark Philip?
Mark Philip Ursua.
Okay, so shout out, Sir Mark Philip Ochoa.
Sabi niya, ma'am, paano po ang withholding ng agricultural products kapag government agency ang magwi-withhold?
Okay. Pag government agency ang magwi-withhold and then withholding on agricultural products, pareho lang naman sila ng private eh, no? Kasi wala namang business tax ang agricultural, only income tax. So ano requirement dyan? The first 300,000 sale during the year ng agricultural product is exempted from the withholding tax. So wala yang 1%. But yung in excess of 300,000 na sale during the year is may withholding na 1%, no? Kasi kahit na sale yan to government, ang government nagwi-withhold din ng 1%. But in excess of 300,000. So anong gagawin mo? Meron kang ngayon i-submit sa kanila na proof or inform them na hindi ka pa umabot ng 300,000 during the year. So whatever amount na yan, hindi ka pa umabot dun sa 300,000, ipadidak mo yun. And then doon na nila i-withhold yung 1%, no? Sa excess doon sa 300,000 na exempt, no? So yun po yung agricultural products. May exemption na 300,000.
Next question, ma'am, galing kay Ma'am Irish. Ilan percent po ang penalty for delayed filing of income tax?
Hindi po siya percent actually because there are 3 penalties na i-impose sa iyo. May 25% surcharge based on the basic tax, and then merong 12% interest per annum, no? Yung per annum na yan on a yearly basis yan, 12% na ngayon, dati 20%. And then the compromise penalty. The compromise penalty is computed by the examiner on duty po yan sila, no? Doon sa naka-duty ng mga examiner for mga walk-in taxpayers. Sila yung nagko-compute doon based sa schedule. May schedule po sila sa compromise penalty. Usually yan based on gross din. So, ano yung babayaran mo? 3 klase yung penalty. The 25% surcharge, the 12% interest per annum, and then the compromise penalty. Pag late ka na, no? So, 3 klaseng penalties, sabay-sabay po yan bayaran.
Wala na pong tanong.
Okay, so sige, tuloy po tayo, no? At least na ano natin. So, hindi ibig sabihin na yung ating topic is withholding. Withholding lang yung sasagutin natin, no? So, try din po natin na yung ibang tax sa abot ng makakaya natin ay sagutin din po natin, no? So, let's now go to the step 2 nung annualized withholding tax natin. Step 2, if the employee has previous employment, no? So, may previous employment ang employee within the year, add the amount of taxable regular and supplementary compensation paid to the employee by the present employer during the annualized computation to the taxable compensation income received from previous employers during the calendar year. And then letter A, when the employer-employee relationship is terminated before December, the taxable regular and supplementary compensation income shall be the amount paid since the beginning of the current calendar year to the termination of employment. No? Letter B, year-end adjustment. The taxable regular and supplementary compensation income shall be the amount paid since the beginning of the current calendar year to December, no? To December. Bakit sinabi dito na calendar year to December? Bakit hindi fiscal year? Because sino po yung nagre-receive ng compensation? Employee. At wala namang employee na corporation, no? So that's why nakalagay dito calendar year December. Why? Because individual persons are not allowed to use fiscal year. Calendar year lang. Ano when we say calendar year, ang taxable period mo begins January and ends December. Wala nang iba, no? Hindi ka papayagan ng BAR na gumamit ka ng fiscal year. Ano naman ang fiscal year? Begins in February or other months except January and end with after the 12-month period, no? So kung nagbigin ka ng February, so matatapos ka ngayon January to comprise the 12-month period. Kung ang fiscal year mo begins in March, mag-end ka naman ng February, no? Basta yung 12-month kompleto yan, isang taxable year, no? Letter C, taxable fringe benefits received by employees holding managerial or supervisory position shall be subject to a final final fringe benefits tax as prescribed in section 2.57 1G thereof. Hence, the same shall not form part of the taxable supplementary compensation of managers and supervisors subject to tax using the withholding tax table. Okay. Yung kaya sinabi dito, yung fringe benefits lang received by the supervisory and managerial positions. Bakit? Kasi yung fringe benefits received by the employee, the rank and file, hindi sila supervisory at saka managerial. Isama mo yung fringe benefits nila sa compensation and then subject mo siya sa gross compensation na income tax. Subject mo siya kasama sa regular compensation and then i-multiply mo sa withholding tax table, no? Step 3, compute the amount of tax on the amount arrived in step 2 in accordance with the applicable schedule as follows. So, for compensation income earned for taxable years 2018 to 2022, no? Alam mo nung binigay ito ng train law ng 2018, no? Pag sinabi mo 2022 ay okay lang kasi malayo-layo pa, parang hindi mo siya ini-imagine. Alam mo ngayon 2020 na, and then 2 months na lang 2021, lapit na pala ng 2022. So you can just imagine how yung 4 years, ang bilis lang pala, no? Ang bilis lang. Pero kung may anak ka na pinapalaki, yung 4 years parang ang tagal na sa iyo kasi makikita mo yung anak mo na lumabas, nag 1 month, tapos nag 1 year, nag 2 years, nag 3 years, and then ito na 4 years mag-aaral na, no? So ganun ka bilis ang panahon, no? Kaya kung may alaga ka, at least malaki na. Okay. So step 3, sa step 3, no? Ito na yung compensation income earned for taxable years 2018 to 2022, and this is the withholding tax table. Kasi pagdating na yung 2023, iba naman yung tax table, no? Step 4, no? Formerly step 6 daw yan, determine the deficiency or exists, if any, of the tax computed in step 3. Ano yung mga tax computed in step 3? No? Yung amount of the tax on the amount arrived, no? Yun yung tax due. Okay. Of the tax computed in step 3 over the cumulative withholding tax already deducted and withheld since the beginning of the current calendar year, no? The deficiency withholding tax with the amount of tax computed in step 3 is greater than the amount of cumulative tax already deducted and withheld, or when no tax has been withheld from the beginning of the calendar year, shall be withheld from the last payment of compensation for the calendar year. So ano yon? Since nag-annualize ka na, the total withholding tax due for the whole year, kung meron ka nang na-withhold on the previous months na tax, i-deduct mo ngayon yung total tax due sa annualized, i-deduct mo yung mga na-withhold mo na tax, and then yung balance, yun yung bayaran mo for the month of December na payable yan January, no? Pero kung halimbawa naman sobra yung na withhold mo January to November, then pagdating ng December, dapat yung responsibility ng employer is dapat i-refund na niya sa employees, no? Okay. If the deficiency withholding tax is more than the amount of the last compensation to be paid to an employee, the employer shall be liable to pay the amount of tax which cannot be withheld from the employee's last compensation for the year. So, ito na ang mangyayari. Wala nang sweldo ang employee kasi daming loan, dami ng bawas pagdating ng December. So, paano ngayon babayaran yung withholding tax and compensation? Pwede bang hindi nabayaran kasi wala nang sweldo yung employee, no? Anong sabi? Anong sabi dito sa regulations? Kung wala nang pambayad ang empleyado, ang employer ang magbabayad. So, hindi pwede na yung tax due niya will not be equal to tax withheld dahil nga wala na siyang sweldo. Anong sabi ng batas? Babayaran ng employer, no? Okay. Ano sabi dito? The employer shall be liable to pay the amount of tax which cannot be withheld from the employee's last compensation for the year, no? So, kung kulang ang withhold mo, bayaran mo yung kulang. The obligation of the employee to the employer arising from the advances made by the employer of the amount of the required tax is a matter of settlement between the employee and the employer, no? So, yung utang mo yun. Kaya nga depende na yun kung anong usapan ninyo ng employer, no? So, the excess withholding tax when the amount of cumulative tax already deducted and withheld is greater than that, the tax computed in step 3 shall be credited or refunded to the employee not later than January 25 of the following year. So, kailan daw siya i-refund or ibalik yung over withholding? Not later than January 25 of the following year, no? So, however, in case of termination of employment before December, the refund shall be given to the employee at the payment of the last compensation during the year, no? So, kailan naman siya ibalik? Since sa mga nag-retire or terminated employee, hindi siya umabot ng December. So, nag-year-end adjustment ka before December, then bayad mo rin doon yung excess withholding mo, no? So, in return, the employer is entitled to deduct the amount refunded to the employee from the remittable amount of taxes withheld from compensation for the current month in which the refund was made and in the succeeding months thereafter until the amount refunded by the employer is fully repaid. So, ano namang gagawin ng employer pag inabunuhan niya yung withholding tax ng employee? Then, ibabawas, ikakaltas niya sa sweldo, no? So, the annualized computation done for each employee shall be reflected by the employer at the alphabetical list attached to BR form number 1604C, no? So, ano yung reflected? Nakalagay doon sa alpha list kasi may computation naman doon. So, you show na lahat ng balance, lahat ng dinidak na doon, no? Illustration number 13. Mr. Bimbim received 120,000 as monthly regular compensation, no? So ano na to? Monthly regular compensation net. Ibig sabihin na bawas na yung SSS or GSIS, the PhilHealth, the Pag-ibig, no? the employee share only. Starting January 1, 2018 from AMB's company. On June 1, 2018, he filed his resignation effective June 30, 2018. No? He was unemployed for the rest of the year. Okay, so wala na siyang trabaho during the year. Nag-resign siya noong June 1, no? So 5 months lang. Okay. The tax withheld from January 1 to May 31, 2018 was 134,164.50. No? So 120,000 a month, nag-retire pa, nag-resign pa, no? Okay. So computation for the period of employment, the total regular compensation January 1 to May 31 is 600,000. And then you have to add now the regular compensation to be received on June, 120,000, no? Okay. Total taxable compensation income January to June 2018 is 720,000. Total income tax due on 400,000 is 30,000. Tax in excess, no, of 720,000 minus 400,000 times 25% is 80,000. So how much is the total tax due? 110,000. How much is the total tax withheld from January to May? 134,164.50. So how much is the amount to be refunded by the employer to Mr. Bimbim? 24,164.50. Ito yung na-over withheld niya. Kasi yung tamang tax due is 110 lang. Nag-withhold siya ng 134,164.50. That's why meron siyang over withholding na 24,164.50 at ito ay ibibigay niya the moment na nag-resign, na terminate na yung employee. In this case, si Mr. Bimbim na nag-resign hanggang May 31 lang, no? Okay? So may question? Okay.
Question ko galing kay Ma'am Ana Fe Posadas.
Okay, so shout out Miss Ana Fe Posadas.
Sabi mo, does retirement benefit subject to withholding tax?
Retirement benefit is if taxable is subject to withholding tax, pero meron tayong tinatawag na tax exempt na retirement benefit. Ano yun? Yung may 50-10 rule. Ano yung 50-10 rule? Dapat ang nag-retire para hindi siya taxable or exempt from the withholding tax, dapat 50 years old and above na siya, and then 10 years and above sa service, no? So halimbawa yung nag-retire is 49 years old, pero 11 years na siya in service, ano siya? Taxable. Halimbawa naman 51 years old siya, pero 5 years lang in service, taxable pa rin, no? So kailan siya hindi taxable? Pagka 50 years old and above na siya, and then 10 years or more din siya na employed.
Lang po, ma'am.
So, okay, so tuloy tayo. Another illustration for this annualized year-in adjustment, no? Illustration number 14. Mr. Joey receives 120,000 as monthly regular compensation, net of SSS, JSIS, PHIC, its DMF. All are employee share only, no? Starting January 1, 2018 from CCF Corporation. On June 1, 2018, he filed his resignation effective June 30, 2018 and was subsequently re-employed in ABQ Company on July 1, 2018 with a monthly compensation of 130,000. So in this case, si Mr. Joey umalis doon sa previous employment niya, scouting for a greener pasture. Why? Kasi doon 120, sa bago 130. So, hinabol niya yung increase na 10,000, no? So, he furnished his new employer with the BR Form 2316 from CCF Corporation, his old employer, which showed that the amount he received from the said previous employer was 720,000, with tax withheld of 134,164.50. On December 15, 2018, he received commission, so may supplemental income, of 15,000 from his new employer. His new employer withheld 178,000 997.40 from his income. So in this illustration, aside from the income in previous employer and the income in current employer, meron pa siyang other income, no, which is commission. So how do we compute? Total compensation received from previous employer January 1 to June 30, 2018 is 720,000. No? So add regular compensation income from new employer July 1 to December 31, 2018, 780,000. The total taxable compensation income is 1,500,000. No? Bakit 1 year na ito? Because our computation is annualized. So 12 months. No? 12-month period. Add supplementary income or commission income na 15,000. So we have total compensation income of 1,515,000. No? So how much is the tax due? On 800,000 is 130,000. Saan nanggagaling to? Galing to sa withholding tax table natin na yun yung tax rate ng 2018 to 2022. No? So para sa atin na kagaya ngayon, buhay pa, nakasurvive tayo doon sa pandemic, no? Let us be thankful. Ako pag nakikita ako kasi nagbabasa ako ng mga dates, no? One just imagine na araw-araw nagbabago yung date and then nandyan ka pa rin, no? Kaya pag nagsulat ako ng date, I always say na thank you Lord, no? Kasi ang sinusulat ko na date is iba na. Pero I'm still alive, so nandito pa rin ako. No? So thank you God for the gift of life na binigay mo at saka sa dami ng during the pandemic, no, sa dami ng hindi naka-survive, no, ang dami na talagang hanggang doon na lang sila, no. Kaya tayo na buhay pa, let's continue with our struggle, no. Do not give up kasi magbago man yung mundo, ikaw pa rin. Kaya sabi ko, ba't ako malulungkot? Wala namang nawala binago lang yung sistema. Ano yung binago ng sistema? Instead na face-to-face, ginawa lang na digitized. No? Yun ang purpose naman talaga dyan digitized economy. Kasi ang daming na-solve na problema ng mundo because ang tao hindi na lumalabas, nabawasan yung traffic, nabawasan yung pollution, stay at home na lang, and then digitized na, paperless na. So, nabawasan na yung cutting ng mga trees para gawing papel, no? Napaka-topsy-turvy ng yung paper-bound na mga transactions, no? Yung mga dokumento na itatago mo pa after kasi hard copy, no? So, napaka-voluminous na trabaho. But with the digitized, naging kaunti na lang yung kumakain ng space, yung mga ini-store natin, no? Malaking tulong. And then, hindi na papatay ng mga kahoy para lang magkaroon ng papel. Excuse me.
Nag-question na.
Sige, sandali lang. Tapusin ko lang to kasi bitin. Okay. So, total taxable compensation income niya is 1,515,000 previous and present employer, and this is during the year. So, tax due is 344,500 using the withholding tax table. And then, magkano yung tax withheld? No? From the previous employer and the current employer. Previous employer, 134,164.50. Sa second employer naman niya, sa current, 178,997.40. The total is 313,161.90. So, kulang, no? Kasi ang tax due niya is 344,500. So, how much is kulang? 31,338.10. Ito yung ibawas niya sa sweldo ni Mr. Joey pagdating na ng December, no? So, magkano yung sweldo niya? 130,000. Ibawas mo yung 31,338.10. So, meron pa naman siyang matira, no? Okay. Sige, question.
Question po galing kay Ma'am Ami Tagle.
Okay. So, shout out, Miss Ami Tagli.
Sabi niya, ma'am, yung 90,000 na benefits po ba excluded sa 250,000 income per annum?
Excluded po siya, no? Kasi ang i-subject mo sa tax table yung total compensation, tapos yung less yung mga SSS computation or deduction na binabayan ng employee, and then i-deduct mo pa yung non-taxable na 13th month pay or the Christmas bonus na not exceeding 90,000. No? So yung 90,000 i-deduct mo yun kung 90,000. Pero kung 30,000 lang naman yung bonus niya, 13th month pay, 30,000 lang. No? Kasi highest na yung 90,000. So kung yun yung deduction niya, dun siya sa highest na 90,000, then i-deduct mo yun sa total compensation niya, and then i-multiply mo sa tax table. So pag multiply mo sa tax table, built-in na doon yung 250,000 na 0%. So meaning, bawas na sa 90,000 bago mo pa i-multiply doon sa 250,000 na exempt. No? Kaya on top of the 250,000, meron ka pang 90,000 na exempt na income. No?
Wala na po.
Okay. So let's now go to illustration number 15 on the annualized year-end adjustment. So for taxable year 2018, EBQ company's record reflected the following. Number 1, Miss Grace received the following compensation for the year. Letter A, monthly basic salary is 50,000. B, overtime pay for November, 10,000. 13th month pay, 50,000. Other benefits, 10,000. Withholding tax January to November, 73,334.25. So how do we compute the tax due? The tax due ni Miss Grace. Okay. So tax due ni Miss Grace, total income received for the year, the basic salary is 50,000 times 12 months equals 600,000. Meron siyang overtime pay nung November na 10,000, so you have to add that. Meron siyang 13th month pay na 50,000, you add that also to determine the gross compensation. And then the other benefits na 10,000, so total income received for the year is 670,000. Less non-taxable income. Ito na yung mga income na hindi siya taxable. That 13th month pay of 50,000, hindi po yung taxable, kaya tanggalin mo siya ulit. Kailangan lang idagdag mo doon sa show mo na nandoon siya sa computation mo ng total income received niya for the year, so that pwede mo siyang i-deduct. Kasi kung yung 13th month pay, hindi mo dinagdag doon, din hindi mo rin pwedeng i-deduct. Otherwise, binawasan mo pa yung taxable income. So, since nandoon siya sa taas, the 13th month pay, ibawas mo siya dito sa baba, So 13th month pay 50,000 and other benefits is 10,000, So ibig sabihin lang, pwede pa kasi hindi sila umabot ng 90,000. So pwedeng i-deduct pati yung other benefits, So the non-taxable income is 60,000. So taxable compensation income is 610,000. And if you multiply it sa table, yung tax due nung 400,000 is 30,000 kasi ang 250,000 dyan, 0. And then yung excess na 150,000 sa 400, yun ay multiply mo sa 20%, kaya 30,000 yung tax due dyan. Kasi if you try to look at on the first 400,000, 250,000 dyan is 0 rate. Walang tax. Nagkaroon lang ng tax doon sa excess ng 250,000 na 150,000 to make it 400, yun yung 150,000 multiply by 20%. So we have 30,000. So on excess of 610,000 minus 400,000 times 25%, ito na yung nasa table. Yung excess doon sa 610 minus 400,000 times 25% is 52,500. So the total tax due is 82,500. And how much is the total tax withheld January to November? 73,334.25. So may kulang pa na 9,165.45. 75, no? Mr. Jerry Hard on July 1, 2018, ibang illustration naman to ha, no? So another example to. Mr. Jerry Hard on July 1, 2018, received the following compensation for the year, no? So monthly basic salary 25,000. Monthly yan ha. Okay. So kailan siya hinire? July 1. Okay. Middle of the year na. 13th-month pay, 25,000. Other benefits, 5,000. Salary from previous employer, January to May, 125,000. Withholding tax from previous employer, 4,167. Withholding tax July to November, 4,167. Okay. How do we compute? No? Ito yung mga given na information. So how do we compute now the income tax due? No? So total income received for the year, salary from previous employer is 125,000. And then salary from present employer, 150,000. 13th month pay, 25,000. Other benefits, 5,000. So total income received for the year, previous and current employer is 305,000. And then we have to deduct down na the 13th month pay and the other benefits amounting to 30,000, no? Kasi 25,000 for the 13th month pay and the other benefits of 5,000. So total is 30,000. So the total taxable compensation income is 275. How do we arrive that? Yung 305,000 na income received for the year, deduct the 13th month pay and other benefits. So we have 275,000. Okay. Sa 275,000, which is the taxable compensation income, you now apply or use the withholding tax table, no? So on 250,000, 0%, no? So on excess 275,000 minus 250,000 times 20% is 5,000. Why 275? Kasi 275 lang yung kanyang taxable, no? And then yung 250 is 0. Kaya magkano na lang yung sobra dun sa 275 minus 250, 25,000 lang. So 25,000 times 20% equals 5,000, no? So the total tax due is 5,000 less the total tax withheld na 8,334, 4,167 coming from the old employer or previous employer, and the current or the new employer is also 4,167. So the total tax withheld is 8,334 and the tax due is 5,000. So you have the amount to be refunded to Mr. Jerry amounting to 3,334, no? So bakit i-refund yan kay Mr. Jerry? Kasi mas malaki yung withholding tax niya kaysa doon sa tax due, no? So kailangan i-refund siya. When is the deadline of the refund? January 25 of the following year. Okay? Shout out.
Meron po ma'am shout out.
Okay.
Shout out po kay Ma'am Ami Oklari.
Okay. Mga previous na rin natin yan.
Yes,
Shout
ma'am.
out Miss Ani. Ami Oklare. Okay, so shout out and thank you for watching.
Shout out din po kay Ma'am Tetay Vallejos.
Okay, so Ma'am Teta Balieho, shout out also.
Watching
And thank
from
you for
Tarlac.
talaga watching from Tarlac. So thank you very much po. Okay?
Shout out din po kay Ma'am RG.
Wow, Miss RJ Bustamante ha. Meron tayong another na naka-graduate na si Sir George. So, for the comprehensive income ng Certificate of Transfer Pricing, i-remind ko lang that would be the December 14. And then yung submission ninyo ng Transfer Pricing Analysis Report is December 17. Yung awarding of certificate nyo is December 21. No? Dalawa na kayo yung nakapag-complete. And then meron pa tayong 3 na nakasalang itong November. So all in all, maging 5 kayo. No? Kung hindi magkasakit yung isa kasi parang naoperahan siya, no? Sa mata, hari?
Ako ma'am.
Yes.
Surgery.
Surgery, no? So, hopefully, maka-join sila doon sa matapos nila, makomplete nila yung November para December makakuha sila ng comprehensive income and then makapag uh, submit ng transfer pricing analysis report so that whatever the result, certified na kayo na transfer pricing analyst, no? Okay.
Wala. May question po galing kay Ma'am Josel Guantero.
Okay, so shout out Ma'am Josel Guantero.
Sabi niya, ma'am, ano pong income tax return ang dapat i-file ng GOCC na non-VAT taxpayer?
GOCC, ang government owned and controlled corporation, ano po sila kung registered sila sa SEC, then 1702, no? Pero kung hindi at saka COA yung nagsicertify sa kanila, no? Pero wala namang ibang return kung hindi 1702 yung ginagamit, no? Only that pala na certified sila ng COA pagka GOCC, no? Yung independent audit nila instead na practicing CPA, COA yung nagsicertify sa kanila, no? 1702. Okay.
Sabi niya, ma'am, may tax case po kami, GOCC.
Okay.
Dahil ever since hindi po nag-file ng income tax return ang corporation.
Oh? Bakit hindi alam nung Alam ko meron tayong legal office ang GOCC, no? Hindi na remind. Kasi subject kayo sa tax, especially if the GOCC is doing business at saka may proprietary function. So, may tax yun, no? Okay, so magle-late filing kayo, mape-penalize kayo. Ano pa?
Okay na po.
No? So, alam nyo, dati kasi, pagka GOCC, pinapabayaan lang. Alam nyo ngayon, hindi na kasi lahat ng statutory na requirements ng government, kahit government ngayon, very strict na rin, no? Kasi just like the GOCCs na mga subject to income tax, you have to pay your income tax, no? Kaya nga din wini-withhold ang GOCCs, no? Sa mga transactions nila kasi yung government-owned and controlled corporation usually they are doing proprietary functions yung doing business kaya subject to tax, no? Okay, unless na yung GOCC na yan may batas, may law nag-grant sa kanya na tax exempt siya, pero kahit na tax exempt ang GOCC, need to file pa rin income tax return, ang tawag doon information return, no? Okay.
Question na po.
Okay.
Galing po kay Ma'am Cecilia Reroma.
Okay.
Sabi niya, ma'am, employee annual income na 195,000.
Okay.
But no withholding tax compensations, employer. So walang report. But meron din business ang employee sales up to 500,000 annual.
Oh.
Sa ITR business lang po ba ang i-report?
Kailan i-report mo? Kasi ang 195,000 na compensation, wala siyang withholding kasi 'di ba ang 250,000 is exempt, no? So, by default, yung exemption na yan ng 250,000, gagamitin niya ng compensation kasi ang compensation is fixed, no? Sa gross compensation siya. Saka required yung employer mo to withhold. So, gagamitin niya yung 250,000. Pagdating na sa business, ikaw na magko-compute doon, i-recompute mo siya, no? So, gross compensation income, i-add mo yung net income from the business, and then multiply mo ulit doon sa tax table, whatever is the tax due, no, na tax payable mo, i-deduct mo ngayon yung withholding tax on compensation, no? Kasi doon sa tax due mo, kasama na doon yung tax due for the compensation at saka yung tax due for the business. So, in your case, walang withholding tax, no? Pero i-add mo yung 195,000 na gross compensation. Since yun yung supposed to be taxable income mo, i-add yan doon sa net income, no? So, ma-avail mo na ngayon yung 250,000 na zero rate. In excess of that, yun ang babayaran sa business, no? So, in that case, pag ang employee, meron siyang business, kailangan niya mag-file ng income tax and then mag-compute ng tax due on business, i-add on niya muna yung compensation income doon sa taxable income, no? So, kung may withholding yung compensation, i-deduct niya, pero kung wala, then babayaran niya yung tax due, no? Yun yung po yung requirement pag tayo ay may business. Employment at saka business, kasama natin i-file doon sa 1701 na form. Okay?
Okay na po.
Anong oras na?
9:16.
Okay. So, tuloy lang po tayo ha. Ilan na yung YouTubers natin?
May viewers tayo ma'am na 40.
Sa YouTube.
Sa Facebook po,
Facebook pala. Okay.
may viewers tayo na 11.
Okay. No, so tuloy lang tayo and thank you for watching. Dito na tayo sa the annualized computation done for its employee shall be reflected by the employer at the alphabetical list of employees. Ano itong alphabetical list of employees? Sa 1604C, no? Required to be attached to BIR form number 1604C. Ito yung annual na alpha list, no? So the list shall be submitted in electronic form, no? O, yun na ang requirement ngayon. Kaya Hari, explain mo yan bukas, yung electronic form na submission ng 1604C, no? So if the compensation is paid other than daily, weekly, semi-monthly, 2-month or monthly, compute the tax to be deducted and withheld as follows. Annually, pwedeng quarterly and semi-annually, bi-weekly, and miscellaneous, no? Kung depende kasi yan sa payroll period mo eh. Kasi kung yung payroll period mo is daily, din daily ka mag-compute ng withholding. Kung weekly, weekly din. Semi-monthly, semi-monthly also or monthly, no? Kasi meron naman tayong withholding tax table, no? So, computation of withholding tax on compensation and benefits received by employees other than rank and file employees. Pag sinabi mong other than rank and file employees, ito yung mga supervisory and managerial positions, no? So, anong gagawin? Determine the total monetary and non-monetary compensation, segregating gross receipts, no? Which include 13th month pay, productivity incentives, Christmas bonus, and friends benefits received by the employee per payroll period, no? Payroll period, yung sabi natin na daily, weekly, semi-monthly, or monthly, no? Okay. Christmas bonus, determine the total monetary and non-monetary compensation, segregating gross receipts, which include 13th month pay, productivity incentives, Christmas bonus, and friends benefits received by the employee per payroll period, no? When computing under the annualized computation, the total monetary and non-monetary compensation shall be that received for the calendar year, no? So, gross benefits received by official and employees of public and private entities shall be exempted from income tax and withholding tax, provided that the amount of exemption shall not exceed 90,000, no? Kasi yung 90,000 na other benefits is exempt, no? Segregate the taxable from the non-taxable compensation, excluding the friends benefits, no? So, paid to the employee. The taxable income refers to all remuneration paid, no, to an employee not otherwise exempted by law from income tax and consequently from withholding tax, no? And then the non-taxable income are those which are specifically exempted from income tax by the code or other special laws as listed in section 2.78.1b hereof, no? So benefits not exceeding 90,000, non-taxable retirement benefits, and separation pay, no? So yun yung i-deduct mo, no? Na non-taxable. Segregate the taxable friends benefits and subject the same to withholding pursuant to subsection D of this section of the regulations, no? Bakit i-segregate mo to yung taxable friends benefits? Kasi ang pinag-usapan dito, the supervisory and managerial na employee. Kasi ang sabi niya dito, other than rank and file employees. So, paano mo i-compute ngayon yung tax dun sa friends benefits? It is subject to final withholding tax. Ano is liable to pay the final withholding tax, the employer, no? Okay. Step number 4, compute withholding tax on the taxable, regular, and supplementary compensation in accordance with the procedures prescribed in Section 2.79, we have discussed already, of these regulations for purposes of withholding per payroll period and for purposes of computing under the cumulative average method or for the year-end adjustment, no? Okay. So how are you going to compute, no? Computation of withholding tax on friends benefits, no? So final withholding tax on friends benefits paid to employees other than rank and file, no? So there shall be imposed a final tax of 35% on the gross monetary value of friends benefits granted or furnished by the employer to his employees except rank and file employees, unless the friends benefit is required by the nature or necessary to the trade, business, or profession of the employer, and when the friends benefit is for the convenience and advantage of the employee. So ito yung exemption, no? Na ang friends benefit is taxable, kailan siya maging exempt from the tax? If for the convenience and advantage of the employer, no? And it is necessary and ordinary to the trade, business, or profession, no? So, anong halimbawa ng friends benefits? Halimbawa, housing allowance or car allowance, no? So, kailan siya maging convenience ng employer at saka necessary and ordinary expenses? Halimbawa na lang yung pharmaceutical company, no? They are providing cars to their medrep, medical representative, no? Is the car for the medical representative ordinary and necessary? Yes. Kasi anong gagamitin ng medrep na pupunta sa mga doctors, no? Na doon sa area niya. Mas matagal kung magko-commute na siya or mag-transportation lang, no? So, kailangan mayroon siyang sasakyan. May dala siya ng mga samples. At saka mas mabilis yung trabaho pag may sasakyan. So, what do you call that? The provision of car to the medical representative is necessary and ordinary and for the convenience of the employer. Why convenience of the employer? Kasi mas maraming mapuntahan na mga doctors ng medical representative, no? Mas maraming ma-reach out ng mga customer kung may sasakyan. Okay? The friends benefit tax shall be paid by the employer in the same manner as provided in Section 2.58 of these regulations. So, it shall not form part of the gross income of the employee. So, since ang sabi natin dito, the rank and file or in this case, the supervisory and managerial, no, na employee, hindi kasama ang gross income na subject to friends benefits sa kadla hindi taxable sa gross compensation income. Kasi subject siya sa final tax, and sino yung magbabayad ng final tax? The employer, no? Pero pagka rank and file, isama mo sa compensation, sino magbabayad ng tax? The rank and file, no? So, yun yung pagkakaiba ng treatment, no? How are you going to compute the gross monetary value of the friends benefits? In general, the gross monetary value of the friends benefits shall be determined by dividing the monetary value of the friends benefits by 65%, no? So the gross monetary value of the friends benefits furnished to the employee who are taxable under subsection B of Section 25 of the Tax Code as amended shall be determined by dividing the monetary value of the friends benefits by the difference between 100, no? So, and the applicable rates of the income tax, no? Yung 35% prescribed on the aforesaid subsection of Section 25 to wit, no? So, subsection B, 25% of income derived from sources within the Philippines by a non-resident alien individual not engaged in trade or business in the Philippines. Iba na to, no? Sa case. The non-taxable friends benefits, no? So, illustration. non-taxable friends benefits ito nung derived from sources within the Philippines by non-resident alien individual o not engaged in trade or business. So, paano mo i-compute yung friends benefits niya? Illustration 16. WV Company, a domestic employer company, granted Miss Lenny, a Filipino branch manager employee, in addition to her basic salaries, 5,000 cash per quarter for her personal membership fee at Country Golf Club. No? So the friends benefits tax shall be computed as follows. Monetary value of friends benefits tax, 5,000, percentage divisor applicable, 65,000. Yun yung 100% minus the tax rate na 35. So equals 65%. No? So 5,000 friends benefits, divide that by 65% na divisor natin. So the friends benefit rate is 35%. So multiply the product by 35%, no? So you have now the friends benefits tax of 2,692.31. So how did we arrive on this? The friends benefits tax monetary value of friends benefits divided by, which is 5,000 divided by 65,000 multiplied by 35%. So equals 5,000 divided by 65 times 35 equals 7,692.31 times 35%. So sa 5,000, you can just imagine sa 5,000 na friends benefits, how much is the final friends benefits tax? The 2,692.31. So more than 50% po ng friends benefits. Napakataas. Illustration number 17. Same facts, but the employee is a non-resident alien individual not engaged in trade or business within the Philippines. No? So the monetary value of friends benefits is 5,000. Percentage divisor applicable is 75,000. And then the friends benefits tax rate is 25%. No? So the friends benefits tax is the monetary value of friends benefits divided by 75%. Bakit 75%? Kasi pag non-resident alien, taxable sila ng 25%, no? On gross. So friends benefits tax is divided by 75% multiplied by 25%. So how much is the friends benefits tax for the non-resident alien individual? 1,666.67. Pag hindi non-resident, magkano? 2,692.31. So, dyan nagkakaiba yung rates, no? May question, Hari? Anong oras na?
9:30.
May nanonood pa sa atin?
Meron po.
Ilan?
Sa Facebook po, 14.
Okay.
Sa YouTube, 12.
Okay. So, continue po tayo,
May tanong po dito.
Oh, sige.
Sabi ni Ma'am Giselle po,
Giselle?
Guantero.
Okay, so, sige.
Anong core po ng income tax return ang dapat i-file namin? Parang kanina na rin po.
GOCC sila?
Opo. Sabi niya ma'am, non-VAT taxpayer, tama po kung 1702 at 1702.
Yes po. Kasi ang corporation, 1702 siya, GOCC kayo no? So, for the corporation is 1702. Ang quarterly niya, 1702Q, no? Kasi meron tayo na yung 1702 may EX tayo for the exempt. Meron tayong MX for the mix, no? May exempt at saka at the same time may taxable na income. Meron din tayo yung regular, no? So, kung taxable lang lahat yung income nyo, doon nga kayo sa RT or the regular. Pero kung meron kayong income na at the same time exempt, at meron din kayong taxable, then doon kayo sa MX na 1702, no? 1702 MX. Pero kung regular lang lahat, then doon na kayo sa 1702 RT, no? Yung quarterly naman, pare-pareho lang sa lahat, 1702Q.
Okay na po.
Okay? So, computation of withholding tax on employees of area or regional headquarters of multinational corporation, the ROHQ, Regional headquarters to, no? And then OBUs or the offshore banking units and petroleum service contractors and subcontractors. The manner and regular rates of withholding tax on citizen and resident individuals under Section 2.79b hereof shall apply. No? Kasi dati preferential rate sila, 15% lang. Ngayon, kung ano yung nasa withholding tax table ng regular na employee, ganun na rin po yung mag-apply sa kanila. No? Okay. So, what are the requirements for deductibility? Tax paid by recipient, no? So, non-deductibility of tax and credit for tax withheld, no? So, Section 8, as amended, is hereby further amended to read as follows. Section 2.79.1, application for registration for individuals earning compensation income or BIR form number 1902, no? Ito, parang niresolve nila dito yung dispute palagi kung sino yung kukuha ng TIN sa mga employees, no? So, the application for registration of employees shall be accomplished by both employer and employee. Bakit both sila? Kasi may perma yung employee, may perma din ang employer. Relating to the following information and other requirements, no? So, letter A, employee. Ano yung requirements sa employee? Required information, no? So, name, taxpayer identification number, the TIN, residential address of the employee, and then other information required as stated in BIR Form 1902. So, fill up natin yung BIR Form 1902. Meron tayong video dyan on how to fill up or guide how to fill up BIR Form 1902, no? And then, letter B, we have civil status of employee, whether single, married, legally separated, widow, or widower, no? So, yun yung civil status. Letter C, occupational status of spouse of employee, no? Occupational status, anong trabaho. If the employee is legally married, the name and TIN, if any, of the spouse and whether said spouse is employed locally or abroad, no? Unemployed or engaged in trade or business. So, you indicate. Next is the required forms and attachment, no? Itong pinag-usapan natin na to is application for registration for individuals earning compensation income or BIR form number 1902, no? So, required forms and attachment, the taxpayer shall file an application for registration BIR form 1902 to establish identity and status, no? So, taxpayer is required to attach the following documents if applicable. Letter A, any identification issued by an authorized government body, no? Birth certificate, passport, driver's license, that shows the name, address, and birth date of the applicant. Also, in case of alien employee, passport and working permit, or photocopy of duly received application for alien employment, no? Permit by the Department of Labor and Employment, no? So, may kailangan. Letter B, copy of marriage contract if married, no? Usually ito NSO certified, no? Other documentary evidence to support employees' identification where the above documents are not available, no? Okay. Walang question?
Meron, ma'am.
Okay, sige.
Galing po kay Ma'am Cecilia Roma.
Okay.
Sabi niya, ma'am, need pa din po bigyan ang employee ng 2316 kahit tax exempted?
Yes po. Kasi ano ba yung nakalagay doon sa 2316? Certificate of Compensation and Tax Withheld, no? Slash ngayon hindi and, no? Slash tax withheld. So, ano yung ilalagay mo doon? The certificate of compensation niya, magkano yung earning niya during the year. But not necessarily na may withholding, no? Kailangan pa rin pong bigyan ng 2316. Why? Kasi yun na yung pinaka-ITR niya So, kung kailangan niya, yun na yung gagamitin niya as income tax return. Okay?
Okay lang po sila.
Okay. So here we come on the concurrent multiple employments ng employee, no? So an employee is employed concurrently by 2 or more employers within the same period of time during the taxable year shall file the application for registration or BIR form number 1902, no? With the main employer or employer to whom the said employer's services is rendered for most of the time during the taxable year, and shall furnish a copy of the duly received application with the secondary employers, second, third, and other employers. The employed husband and wife shall each file a separate application with their respective employers, no? Okay. Successive multiple employment, no? So hindi lang isa ang employer. An employee who transferred to another employer during the taxable year shall furnish the concerned new employer a copy of the certificate of compensation or payment or tax withheld, no? BIR form number 2316 for compensation payment with or without withholding tax during the calendar year issued by previous employer. So, dito, 2316 ka with or without withholding tax, no? Letter B, employer. The employer with whom the application for registration or BIR form number 1902, no? Ito yung sa employee, is filed must indicate the date of receipt thereon and accomplish part 4 of the said application pertaining to employer's information such as TIN, employer's registered name, and other relevant information, no? So letter C, procedures for the filing of the application for registration or BIR form number 1902 and or application for registration information update BIR form number 1905. Lahat po ng mga forms na to, meron po tayong video dyan on the guide on how to fill up, no? Itong 1902 at saka 1905. All employers shall require their concerned employees to accomplish in triplicate the application for registration BIR form 1902 if the employee does not have existing TIN, or application for update of registration BIR form 1905 if the employee has existing TIN and or registered outside the RDO of the employer, or if update of the employer's information, no? So distributed as follows: original copy RDO, duplicate employer, and triplicate the employee, no? The said form shall be accomplished and submitted based on the following manner. A. New employee shall accomplish the application for registration for individuals earning compensation income or BIR form number 1902 and submit the same to the employer. No? So the employer shall file the fully accomplished, sino ang magpa-file ng 1902? The employer, no? Shall accomplish registration form of employees registering for the first time to the BIR, no, within 10 days from the date of employment, or secure the TIN of new employees using the e-registration system, no? So pwede na ang facilities ng BIR on the e-registration, no, online. In case of changes in the information data in the application for registration BIR form number 1902 previously submitted by the employees, such as changes in employment, multiple employment, status and amount of compensation income, no? So an application for registration information update BIR form number 1905 reflecting the changes together with the required documentary evidence of changes must be submitted to the employer within 10 days after such change, no? So the employer shall then make the necessary adjustment on the withholding tax of the employee based on the new information, no? So sino yung may duty talaga na mag-file, kumuha ng TIN ng employee? The employer, no? How about the changes in information update? Ito yung BIR form 1905, no? 1905 yan, information update, no? application for registration information update, reflecting changes together with required documentary evidence of changes. Within 10 days after such change, dapat naka-receive sa BIR, no? Kasi pinapareceive pa yan doon para ma-update yung information ng employee sa database ng BIR, no? The employer shall transmit all copies of the completely filled out application for registration information update or BIR form number 1905 to the concerned office of the LTS, Revenue Region, Revenue District Office, where the employer is registered on or before the last day of the month of receipt from the employee. No? So the RDO is duly authorized representative where the employer is registered shall receive and stamp the 3 copies. No? So the triplicate copy duly stamped received by the BIR shall be given to the employee. Registration and information updates of employees receiving purely compensation income shall follow the existing policies and procedures. Question. Okay, Section 9, Section 2.79.2 of RR 2-98 as amended is hereby further amended to read as follows. No? Section 2.79.2, failure to file application for registration or BIR form 1902. No, hindi nag-file ng 1902 ang employee. Where an employee in violation of these regulations either fails or refuses to file an application for registration, BIR form number 1902, together with the required attachments, the employer shall withhold the tax prescribed under the revised withholding tax table Annex D or E, no, whichever is applicable. So, kailangan ng 1902, no, application for the 1902. Ano yung failure? Kung hindi siya magbibigay ng 1902, i-withhold siya ng taxes, no? Based on the withholding tax table. Okay. Section 2.79.4 RR number 2-98 as amended is hereby further amended to read as follows. Section 2.79.4 husband and wife, no? Ito yung default ng husband and wife. Where both husband and wife are each other recipient of compensation either from the same or different employers, taxes shall be withheld separately in accordance with the applicable revised withholding tax table, Annex D or E. No? Okay. So, Section 11, Section 2.8, RR number 2-98 as amended, is hereby further amended to read as follows. No? Liability for tax, Section 2.8. No? So, employer. Anong oras na, Hari?
9:45.
Okay. Question.
Wala po.
Okay, shout out.
Shoutout lang po kay, good evening daw po sabi ni Ma'am May Christie.
Okay, so shout out then Miss May Christie. Good evening and thank you for watching.
Siya lang po ma'am.
Okay. So, additions to tax. Ito na yung addition to tax, meaning ito yung mga penalties na dapat mong bayaran. No? So, interest, binago yung rate ng interest dito kasi implementing guidelines to ng train law. No? So, interest, there shall be assessed and collected, no, on any unpaid amount of tax, interest at the rate of double the legal interest rate for loans or forbearance of any money in the absence of unexpressed stipulation set by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas from the date prescribed for payment until the amount is fully paid, provided that in no case shall the deficiency and the deficiency interest prescribed under subsection B and C hereof be imposed simultaneously. No? So, deficiency interest, any deficiency in the tax due as the term is defined in this code shall be subject to the interest prescribed in subsection A hereof, which interest shall be assessed and collected from the date prescribed for its payment until the full payment thereof or upon issuance of a notice and demand by the Commissioner of Internal Revenue, whichever comes earlier. No? So if the withholding agent is the government or any of the agencies, political subdivisions, or instrumentalities, or a government owned or controlled corporation, the employee thereof responsible, ito nung masaklap sa government withholding agent, no? The employee thereof responsible for the withholding and remittance of tax shall be personally liable for the surcharge and interest imposed therein. Imagine, no? Yung person in charge, siya yung magbabayad, ikong milyon-milyon yan, no? Section 12. Section 2.83.1, Employees Withholding Statements, BR Form 2316. No? So, in general, every employer or other person who is required to deduct and withhold the tax on compensation, including fringe benefits given to rank and file employees, shall furnish every employee from whom taxes were withheld a certificate of compensation payment and tax withheld, or BIR Form number 2316, on or before January 31 of the succeeding calendar year. No? So, January 31 of the following year, yun po yung deadline na magbibigay ang employer ng 2316. No? Or if employment is terminated before the close of such calendar year on the day on which the last payment or compensation is made, the said BIR Form number 2316 is also required to be issued by every employer to employees classified as MWEs and to other employees whose compensation were not subjected to withholding tax. No? Sino yung itong mga exempted natin? No? Ito yung mga employees na hindi subject to withholding tax. Ito yung mga minimum wage earners. Kailangan din ba nila ng 2316? Yes. The employer shall prepare BIR Form number 2316 in triplicate, which shall be distributed as follows: original employee's copy, duplicate BIR's copy, and triplicate employer's copy, which shall be retained for a period of 10 years. Bakit retain ito ng period of 10 years? Kasi meron tayong archiving or retention of records requirement, which is now 10 years under the train law. No? Actually, ginawa yan ni Commissioner Henares during her time, pero nasa in-uphold naman ng train law. No? So, the certificate shall indicate the following information. No? Name and address of the employee, employee's taxpayer identification number, name and address of the employer, employer's TIN, no? The sum of compensation paid, including the non-taxable benefits, the amount of statutory minimum wage received if employee is MWE, overtime pay, holiday pay, night shift differential pay, and hazard pay received if employee is minimum wage earner. The amount of tax due if any, and the amount of tax withheld kung meron din. No? So, the certificate must be signed by both the employer, the employer's authorized officer, and the employee. No? So, it shall contain a written declaration that it is made under the penalties of perjury. If the employer is the government of the Philippines, its political subdivision, agency, or instrumentality, or government-owned or controlled corporation, the statement shall be signed by the duly designated officer or employee. Ito na yung mga GOCC, nandito na. Sino daw yung pipirma ng 2316, no? Duly designated officer or employee, no? Employees qualified for the substituted filing of his income tax return as indicated under section 2.83.4 of RR 2-98 as amended shall immediately affix their signature in the certificate of compensation payment and tax withheld to signify their intention to avail of the substituted filing of income tax return and return to the employer the duly signed certificates for the latter's signature. No? So the employer shall give back to the employee qualified for substituted filing of ITR the original copy, while the duplicate copy shall be submitted by the employer to the concerned BIR office not later than February 28 of the succeeding year with accompanying certified list of employees qualified for substituted filing of ITR or Annex F, no? Reflecting the amount of income payment, the tax due, the tax withheld. This list shall be stamped received by the concerned BIR office, which shall be tantamount to the substituted filing of ITR by the qualified employees. No, so in the event that the employee will need his or her certificate, BIR form number 2316, stamp received, he or she shall request the concerned BIR office to have the certificate stamp received, accompanied with the submission of the employer's certification that he or she was included in the list submitted by such employer to the BIR. No? So itong mga substituted, qualified for the substituted filing of income tax, sino ito? Ito yung mga employee na whose tax due is equals to tax withheld, no? Withhold siya properly, and who has only one employer during the year, no? So qualified sila sa substituted filing. Ano po yung substituted filing? The employee need not file an income tax return, no? Ang pinaka 2316 yun na yung substituted niya na ITR. Why? Kasi nandun na nakalagay yung total gross compensation niya, then nakalagay din yung tax withheld, no? Kasi tax due equals tax withheld nga. For employees not qualified for substituted filing, ito yung may more than one employer during the year, no? Or the tax due equals is not equal to the tax withheld, no? So, two original and duplicate copies of the subject certificate shall be given to the employee to serve as proof of compensation received and tax credit, and other copy shall be retained by the employer, no? So they shall form part of the employee's income tax return to be filed on or before April 15 of the following year, no? Shout out, may question?
Question po, ma'am.
Okay.
Ano po kay Ma'am May Christine?
Okay.
Sabi niya po, tanong niya po, ma'am, may penalty po ba kung hindi po nakapag-submit ng 1905?
Wala naman, no? For the meantime siguro wala, pero hindi ko alam later on. Or yung 1905 kasi is update po yan ng information nyo sa BIR, no? So halimbawa nag-change kayo ng RDO, nag-change kayo ng address, o kaya nag-change of name kayo, halimbawa single to married, no? So nag-change name kayo, so update yan. Ang requirement naman natin is within 10 days na may changes, you inform the BIRs, you fill up form 1905, no? Pero wala naman ng sinasabi na may penalty, no? Kung malilate or what. Siguro ang consequence mo lang dyan na yung information na change mo, kung may it carries with it benefits, hindi mo ma-avail kasi hindi ka nag-update, no? Pero so far wala naman pong penalties 1905, no? May question pa? So an employer's withholding agent, including the government or any of its political subdivisions and government-owned and controlled corporation, who fails to comply with the above filing or submission of BIR form number 2316 within the time required by these regulations, may be held liable under section 250 of the tax code as amended for its failure, no? So the imposition of any of the penalties under the tax code as amended and the compromise of the criminal penalty on such violation shall not in any manner relieve the violating taxpayer from the obligation to submit the required documents, no? So any employer, withholding agent, including the government or any of its political subdivisions and government-owned and controlled corporations who or which fails to comply, no, with the above filing or submission of BR Form number 2316 within the time required by these regulations for 2 consecutive years may be dealt with in accordance with Section 255 of the Tax Code as amended, no? Yung mga hindi nagko-comply with the submission ng 2316, no? So, dealt with accordingly under Section 255. Yun yung failure to submit information return, no? Okay. Anong oras na?
9:57.
Okay, so 9:57, no? Meron pa tayo dito na transitory provisions na pala eh. So, tapusin na lang natin to. Although, hindi rin pala natin matapos kasi sa next natin, itong mga annexes, no? Atin to na i-discuss pa, mahaba pa, no? So, wala na tayong, questions?
Wala po.
No? Kasi bitin itong pag-inumpisahan natin, no? Pero tapusin ko na lang tong Section 13, no? Section 2.83.4, substituted filing of income tax return by employees receiving purely compensation income, no? So, individual taxpayers receiving purely compensation income regardless of amount from only one employer in the Philippines for the calendar year, the income tax of which has been withheld correctly by the said employer, tax due equals tax withheld shall not be required to file annual tax return, no? For individuals earning purely compensation income, which is BIR form number 1700. In lieu of BIR form number 1700, the certified list of employees qualified for substituted filing by TR with information regarding the name of compensation earner, the TIN, compensation paid, tax due and tax withheld, filed by the employer with the concerned BIR office and stamp received by the latter shall be tantamount to the substituted filing of ITRs by concerned employees, no? So, the following individuals, however, are not qualified for substituted filing and therefore still required to file income tax return in accordance with existing regulations. So, pagka tax due equals tax withheld, qualified ka na hindi mag-file ng income tax return. Pero, kahit tax due equals tax withheld, under this condition, kailan mo pa rin mag-file, no? Sino-sino itong mga to? Individuals deriving compensation from 2 or more employers concurrently or successively at any time during the calendar year, no? So, sabi kasi sa substituted filing, only one employer during the year. So, kung 2 or more employers ka na, magpa-file ka na talaga ng tax return. Letter B, employees deriving compensation income regardless of the amount, whether from a single or several employers during the calendar year, the income tax of which has not been withheld correctly, no? So, tax due is not equal to the tax withheld, resulting to collectible or refundable return, no? So, letter C, individuals deriving other non-business, non-professional related income in addition to the compensation income, not otherwise subject to a final tax, no? And then letter D, individuals receiving purely compensation income from a single employer, although the income tax of which has been correctly withheld but whose spouse falls under section 2.83.4, 2.83.4A, B, and C of these regulations, no? And letter E, non-resident aliens engaged in trade or business in the Philippines deriving purely compensation income or compensation income and other non-business or non-professional related income. So, hindi rin sila qualified sa substituted filing. Kailangan nila mag-file ng BR Form 1700 for their income tax, no? So, itong mga transitory provisions at saka itong mga attachment, no, yung mga annexes, di-discuss po natin to on our next live streaming, no? Dito sa tax training, no? Okay? May ano pa? Question, Hari?
Wala na pong question na.
Shout out.
Wala na rin po.
Okay, so
Thank you lang daw po, ma'am.
okay, so thank you very much for watching, no? And sa mga subscribers natin, thank you very much for supporting us in our YouTube channel. Thank you very much, and let's call it a night, no? So, thank you.